to the show to a man who's recently released his third album, which is on course, touch wood, fingers crossed, to get to #1 in the UK album charts this week. It's Mr. James Bay.
Oh mate, thank you so much for having me, and yeah, fingers very tightly crossed.
Yeah, and I've just been talking to you before we went live, then you were saying it's been a manic few days because you've been hopscotching up and down across the country.
All over. We've come up north, and then we've been further north to Scotland, and we're about to be on our way back down to London and then Brighton to go further south. To do, it's been really fun. It's like a little kind of a record store tour.
Yeah.
A lot of these brilliant record stores have gone as far as to sort of book out a venue like the Cavern Club in Liverpool. Jacaranda booked it out, so we can have a few extra people in, but it's still intimate. Like Preston was just about the hottest, sweatiest gig I've ever done in my life.
Well, it's funny actually because this is the first time you've been to the Cavern. You've just as a tourist, as a visitor,
Correct.
never mind playing it. And with you mentioning there's a couple of shows that you're going to be doing today, it's a very Beatly thing because that's what the Beatles were quite famous for, really.
Absolutely right.
The lunchtime show, then people go back to work, they come back for the evening one.
Yeah, and that reminds me, I remember in the first bands that I was in, we would do what we were asked to do. If we were playing at someone's party or someone's wedding, can you turn up at 6? Can you do a set from 7:30 till 8:30? Can you do a set from 10 till 11:30 or something? And we used to love doing that. So all of that energy, I'm trying to carry it.
And on the subject of the Beatles, obviously, with us being in what many consider to be the birthplace of the Beatles, were they a big influence to you growing up?
Enormous influence. And to be honest, I think for so many musicians of the last 40, 50 years, they were a massive influence whether I knew they were doing it or not. I think, McCartney and Lennon songs and George Harrison songs, all Beatles songs, they've infiltrated far and beyond just Beatles records. I think we hear them, covered by millions and millions of artists. I was listening to a Ray Charles compilation that came out recently, and there's so many he's doing. Yesterday, he's doing Let It Be, he's doing Imagine, which granted is a John Lennon song, but still he's a Beatle.
It just keeps coming around, doesn't it? Again and again. You mentioned about people being influenced sometimes without even realising it, but you've even got the modern day generation now where Billie Eilish, who is one of the big deals, who is coming out quite openly and saying what an impact they had on her as a songwriter.
That reminds me, on this new album I worked with her brother Phineas. It was an exciting thing to be able to do because he's a bit of a genius in his own right. And I remember as we got talking before we got to work, we was talking for an hour. It was a Zoom conversation. He was in LA, I was in London, and we were talking about all manner of different bands, and the Beatles came up multiple times because how can they not? So a very important band, and just some of the greatest songs that will ever have existed in time.
And also there's another Beatles connection with yourself, which is quite famous in my house.
Oh yeah,
it's the Beat Bugs.
Oh yeah.
Hey Bulldog.
Yeah,
you did the version on that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
which has been the Beat Bugs has been an introduction